It's your boys. It's your boys. Joxy and Diggs. We're back with another good old podcast. It's called, Cracking a Cold One. Cracking a Cold One. And what we do is we talk about sports and we crack a cold one to start things off. So, let's get things started. Cheers,
Cheers,
buddy.
buddy.
So, we have things going a little bit different with today's episode for a couple of reasons. Um, Full transparency, we had a little bit of technology issues, but we're just going to go ahead and switch things up a little bit this week. So we're going to go through each of the games real quick and kind of just talk about at a high level, and but also diving in a little bit more of the playoff picture. So talking more a little bit deeper about these teams that are going to be making the playoffs. And we're going to conclude with ending with our usual with fantasy and betting. So start things off. I'll let Degs go ahead and do his usual.
Yeah, so last week, the season long record, right? So last week record, I made up some ground, right? You had a 6-5 record, I had a 9-2, and then our guest Ronnie had an 8-3. So I had a 3 game.
Goodness, I had the worst week.
That was one of your down weeks. Yeah, no, it's I needed that. Now I'm back in the mix here, right? So the season long record, you got 89-47, 85-51. I'm 4 games behind. So if I can, we got enough weeks here. If I can chip away,
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm trying to catch you. So
that's fun.
that was a big week for me.
Well, congratulations for finally having a better week than me.
Thank you, the Cardinals. I just want to throw that one out there. They ruined your
Yeah, that
Steelers.
is true. That is
Now,
true. We were all like talking about. We all looked at you like, "What?"
uh,
Even Justin was in here like,
and
"Ah."
then the one you did get me on was Houston and Denver. You got me on that one.
Yeah.
Uh, Russell Wilson, that dummy, he should have had it at the end there in the end zone. But anyway,
Let's get things started.
new week, first game, Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Like we said, we're gonna do a quicker run through of this. Not even too much to note on this game. Mike Evans went off per usual, 1,000 yard receiving
10 years
again
in a
for
row.
10 years in a row. Uh, I would say Rashad White too is having a fantastic season. He had another
Yeah.
great game, tutty last week. I don't think Atlanta's very good. 13-8 score last week.
Yeah.
I don't think they score that much this week either. Maybe a better day for Ritter, but not enough. Tampa Bay wins.
Right there with you. I think Tampa Bay has a week where they're trying to they're towards the end of the season where they're trying to fight into the playoffs, and with how that division is set up.
Three-man race. Yeah.
It's a 3-man race right now.
Right.
I'm right there with you. Tampa Bay,
Yep.
Detroit, and
At Bears.
yeah, with the Chicago Bears.
So Detroit, they had a high scoring affair last week with New Orleans. They got it done. It was a big win. They needed that. I think
They're
that
right up our ass.
they look great. They definitely do. The thing to note is last week Gibbs dominated the snaps. This week it was Monty. So I can't I can't pin that down. But the only thing
It's
you
so
guys
annoying.
need to know is they are both getting the rock a
Yeah,
bunch. So
you can always guarantee Monty at the in the red zone for sure.
he's like a touchdown every week, man.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. And then the Bears are coming off a bye. The thing I don't know what's going to happen with them is who's going to be the lead running back. Is it just going to be a 3-man committee now with Foreman healthy, all
yeah,
three healthy? But in any event, I have Detroit winning this, my boys.
yeah. I got Detroit winning this. That they're right. Like I said, they're right up. Um, Pretty much Eagles and the Niners ass to try to get that number one seed.
Yeah,
Um,
they're in the mix.
they're definitely in the mix. They're a really good team. And once C.J. Gardner Johnson, I know he's been posting some subliminal messages about possibly coming back before the end of the season.
Wow.
I think if he does come back before the end of the season, that could definitely be
Well,
a game changer for them.
that's been a missing
Um,
ingredient.
that's been such a Mason ingredient, and when he left Philly, it shows now this year. Like I love Bradbury, but
How
I
important.
much have I'd much rather have paid
CJ.
CJ the Bradbury money. I don't know who. The rumors are that he got offered a good amount from Howie. He declined. Howie went and
Yeah.
offered another amount, or offered, I guess, something to Bradbury, and he accepted. So whatever the amount was, and I don't know if he had a counter or whatever it may be, but like I just wish that he would have stayed. That would have been a difference maker for us.
This is a sidebar, but I just have a quick question as an Eagles fan. Would you rather have CJ and Bradbury or Slay and Bradbury?
CJ and Bradbury.
Interesting. Okay. Because that could have been a thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I would have. I think I would have much rather had CJ and Bradbury. Love Slay, um, but I think
You
Slay is like towards the end of his career, and we could have replaced
easier to replace than someone like CJ Gardner Johnson.
with and he's young,
Right.
so yeah.
Okay.
No, Detroit this week, so we're on the same page. Next week we have is Indianapolis and the Cincinnati Bengals, battle of the backups. So good week for the Bengals last week with, Browning had a pretty good week. Um, I'm curious if he follows back up again with that same outing. Oh,
I am too. Zach Taylor had a phenomenal game plan for him.
yeah,
I really tip my hat to him and how they were able to kind of like take Jacksonville by surprise underneath throws, right? And then they're mixing in the deep shots, and
yeah.
they were caught off guard. And Jamar Chase had a fantastic day, 149 yards and a touchdown. So uh, I like what they had there. I'm not saying that he's going to be doing that, every week to week, going against Gardner, right? So now it's another week without JT. They did okay last week. They won in that thriller versus Tennessee. Pittman and him definitely have a great connection,
Yep.
and Moss is definitely the man now with JT out. But I'm gonna take a shot on the Bengals again. They're home. Gardner, I think he's due for a bad game, and I'm gonna go with Brown and winning the battle of backups.
We're gonna go ahead and disagree for the first time on this week. Let's go ahead and cheers to that one.
Love it.
I'm riding Indianapolis, and mainly because of their defense. Their defense actually has been putting up some really good numbers these past few weeks. They've been having several weeks with turnovers now. Um,
Steven's legit.
yeah,
You're 100%
this
right.
is this is a team that I think that people are starting. They need to start looking at, like, with giving them a little bit more respect because of how they're beating teams. Um,
You want to hear something crazy?
so I'm picking Indy solely because of, I think that their defense will be the difference maker to go ahead and they may get
Get to
to
Brown and
Browning, or they're going to get to him
it's a
enough where he's going to end up
better defense
turning it over.
than Jacksonville for sure. I took Cincinnati too because I was pretty sure you were going to take Indianapolis. So I'm trying to cut the lead now.
Here we go.
But the real quick, I want to say that's crazy because we're getting ready to cover one of the teams in the same division. Right? How shocked would you be if I told you right now, at the start of the season, that Jacksonville, Texans, and the Colts are all technically would make the playoffs at the start
Which
today?
is crazy. I did not think the Texans would be the team that would be even in the talks of it, but they're looking good.
Crazy.
So Jacksonville and Cleveland. Jags are a really good team. I'm not putting anything past them. I think that they get this because of the fact of just being a better team put together all around. Um, what's his name? The linebacker for the Jags. I'm blanking on his name. 41.
Not Allen.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, oh. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It so I laughed when I'm hearing, oh, Josh Allen linebacker. I'm like, wait, Josh Allen's not a linebacker, and then I'm like, oh crap, they're talking about the linebacker from the
They were.
Jags.
Were they drafted the same draft?
I think they were. That's a good question. I'm curious. I'm gonna look that up. Um, no, but I got Jags in this one. I mean, Joe Flacco. I don't think the Magic's is gonna happen. With him shocking the world and beating the Jags. Um, Yeah, I got Jags in this one. No, no, not much to say with this one. I mean, it's just Cleveland has a great defense, but I just think that Jacksonville has a better built team. Parker Washington is finally getting some love over there. I was very happy as being a Penn State fan.
He had a nice game.
Well, the first catch that he had, I was like, oh, they're now going to attack him,
He's
and
got the
then he finally had a touchdown right in that same drive. Same drive, he had a touchdown. So beautiful.
press the button.
What button? We're
I'm taking Cleveland. What do you always say? Defense
oh shit. That's
always
why he wanted me to
wins.
press the button.
So
Press the button.
press that damn button.
No, from Rush Hour. Press the button.
Press the button.
Press the button. No, I don't want to press the button.
I
No,
think
that's good. That's funny.
I think the defense is gonna get to Jacksonville. Not only that, I think something that you're forgetting about, my friend, which your pick's locked in. Trevor Lawrence might miss. Beathard versus Joe Flacco. I think I'm taking Joe Flacco with the defense. They're
Yeah.
home. Now, granted, the weapons are way better in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper is in concussion protocol. That was a disappointing loss, I just have to say. I cannot believe
Yeah.
they lost that. But yeah, I have Cleveland. I just think that if it's a battle of the backups, they have them beat.
Well, let's go ahead and see what happens this week for
Yeah.
sure. Carolina at New Orleans. This might be the first week where I'm like, yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has anything to say about like Carolina besides the fact that they're just the worst team in the whole entire league. I think that they made the wrong pick at quarterback.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. They're here with where they're at now. So I have Saints taking this one, especially because how the division is set up with the NFC South. I think that they do their thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you can't get mad at me for taking them this week.
Not this week.
Derek Carr, Jameis, whoever starts, yeah, they're gonna get it done. I think this things to note is Olave and Jameis Winston. When Jameis goes in, Olave is a different player.
Yeah.
He just peppers him. He loves going to him. Right off the bat, he came in did the same thing. Kamara had a nice day. Carolina sucks. Yeah, no. I agree. I think they made. I personally think they made the wrong choice. I don't think it's one of those. Oh, maybe he could. No.
No,
Uh,
nothing about
New
that.
Orleans. Yep.
We got Houston Texans with the Jets. So this one actually, when initially I was setting up my lineups and whatnot, I'm like, damn, the Jets. It's just because the Jets have top top 10 defense in the league for sure. Um, but I have Houston taking this one. I was really upset seeing Tank Dell go last week. Um, Nico Collins had a big week last week, but I know that
Oh yeah.
Gardner or Sauce is going to be on Nico, I'm sure. Um, but Schultz could go ahead and have a good game this week. I think that I think all around that they can still figure out a way to go ahead and win this. Of course, Jets. They're promoting what's his name as the starter again.
Wilson.
Yeah, Zach
Yeah,
Wilson.
it's
So I
they're
mean, as long as Zach Wilson's the freaking starter, then you can almost guarantee that the Jets are going to lose. So I'm going with this one. I'm going Houston.
Yeah, I am too. The Jets are just in a disaster situation right now. I mean, to have to go back to him. I mean, I guess they saw enough that they didn't like Alex Simeon. I personally think they blew it. They should have been the ones to get Flacco. That's just what I think. I think he would have been good enough with the weapons they have.
Mm-hmm.
But Houston, yeah, Nico Collins now the man. No Tank Dell. I think something to note is Schultz was out, and Brevin Jordan got 72% of the snaps. So that's something to note if you need a streaming tight end and Schultz is out. He could be a viable
That's good.
option. Yeah, and Damian Pierce came back, 15 to 8 touches over Singletary. So it looks like they're kind of conceding back to him. So that's something else to note. Singletary's not a lock to start going forward like he was.
I love it. I'm actually looking at this game with the bets right now as the Rams and Baltimore. Really, I think this could be a solid game. A shootout to say. Um,
Let me tell you a quick stat, real quick,
yeah,
that I
yeah.
saw. All right, the last time Matthew Stafford played outside was September 25th. The last time he played in the rain, not in 2023, not in 2022, not in 21, not 20, not 19, not 18, way back in 2017. Stafford is 1-5 in the rain, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 56% completion percentage, and he's playing in Baltimore. Check the weather. Rain.
Baltimore. Baltimore. No debate.
I thought about
Baltimore,
I thought
Baltimore, Baltimore.
I was with no, I know. Typically, I was like, because the Rams are hot right now. They look good, but the way that this is shaping out for Stafford, I think it's going to be a rough go. I think if they have any shot, it's got to be a Kyron Williams day. But with the Ravens defense and they're coming off a bye, I just think they're going to be too much for them at home.
Yeah.
And the rain.
That is a crazy
Isn't that
stat.
crazy
That
stat? I
is
saw
insane.
that. Let me give the shout out to the guy on Twitter that put that out there. He's a guy that I look to a lot. His name is Warren Sharp. Uh, I couldn't believe it. That's an unbelievable.
That's a holy shit.
So if you have Matthew Stafford and you were debating on starting him this week, don't
Don't do it.
don't.
Don't you do it. All
See,
right, we got
Seattle at San Francisco,
divisional game.
divisional game.
And I've heard Gino might not play this week.
Oh really?
Yeah. There's rumors that he may not play and what's his name? Freaking
Drew Lock.
I always call him Jeezy because of that
That song, yeah, on the
that clip.
sideline, yeah.
Yeah, there was supposedly Drew Lock is supposed to be starting if he's not. So yeah, with this one, San Fran I think wins this one. They're going on a tear.
They're hot.
I don't see
That was a big win
I
last
don't
week.
see a team right now stopping them until the playoffs come around.
I don't think Seattle's that team.
I don't think
I s-
Seattle is that team to go ahead and stop them, but I definitely think that if they come back into Philly, that it could look a lot different. Because listen, it's hard to beat a team. It's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team three times. Like so,
when we get to Philly,
yeah, we'll get
I'll
to
tell
it.
you
We'll
my
get there.
opinion. But San Fran did look great last week. I have to give them their flowers. That was a great win for them over a great team. So and on the road. So gotta tip your cap to them on that one. I think they're back home now. That's a big win. I mean, this could be a trap game. It definitely could. But I have to be honest. If Drew Lock is out there, it's not that I think he's that much of a drop off, but he's a lot more turnover friendly, and I think that fits right into the San Francisco scheme. And I just think that they're going to be a little, too much for that team, and
Yeah,
gonna gonna ride the high right now and get a win.
agreed. Minnesota at Vegas.
Yeah, I got Minnesota. They're coming off a bye. JJ is supposed to be back.
I saw that in the bets that he's on. He's listed on there. So I'm like,
I'm
wow.
I'm curious how they bring him back. Right? Is he going to be on a pitch count? Are they just going to throw him out there to 90+% of snaps? How does this affect Addison and Hawkinson now? Because
Yep.
they've been very viable options in fantasy now. From from his absence. So I'm very curious about that in the backfield because Mattinson hasn't been so great. Ty Chandler's all right. I kind of like what I see out of him. So I'm curious if it's more of a 50-50 split, if it's
Yeah.
more of a turn one way or the other. But I just think Las Vegas, they had a good little couple weeks with Pierce and kind of riding that morale. They're an okay team. They are coming off a bye too, but I just think Minnesota with JJ's is too much
I agree. Any word on quarterback?
for them. For Minnesota,
Yeah.
it's Dobbs.
Is it Dobbs still
Yeah.
okay? Because
hmm
I know that they were talking about possibly pulling Dobbs out. So I think if they bring back JJ, I think Minnesota takes this one as well. I think this actually could be a good game though. This is one where
Closer than we
it could
think.
it
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be one where
Minnesota's a
it's not going to be like the crazy high scoring 30s game, but I think it could be something like in the
23-20.
yeah, it could be in the 20s.
Yeah.
I definitely think it could be in the 20s.
Yeah.
So could be a really good game to watch. Sorry to all the Raiders fans, TJ and Nick and Justin,
We'll
but
be seeing them later.
do not think you guys get this one this week.
Wow.
I think
I'm with you.
Minnesota gets y'all. All right, what we got here? We got Denver against the Chargers. Two teams that I really do not like. I just cannot stand
I was
either.
laughing at this one.
Listen, the Chargers last
As
week
a
pissed
you.
me the hell off. I'm like, are you kidding me?
6 points.
6 points against the Patriots? Against the Patriots? Zach Taylor, you should be fired because of that.
Staley.
You should be. I
Said
said.
Zach Taylor.
I said. I'm sorry.
Zach, you did a good job though.
Zach Taylor, you did a good job. Yeah.
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley. Goodness gracious, I'm getting these guys all mixed up. Brandon Staley should be fired from that because like that's just that's horrible. That is disgusting. With this game, I do not think that they win this one. I think Denver takes this one. Mainly, yes. Listen, we'll do this. Is it? Yes, I know. I'm not a big fan of Denver, but I do think that Denver goes ahead and catches up on their weaknesses and is able to go ahead and take this game. I'm not buying the Chargers team. I can't stand them. It's almost like with you this whole entire year with your picking the Saints and I'm picking the Chargers every single week. That's probably happened a lot. So yeah, no, screw you, Chargers. I'm off your bandwagon.
Yeah,
That's my end of my rant.
no, I think it was a well deserved rant. Denver definitely they could have had 7 straight. They definitely lost it towards the end, but I think they're in a good place. I don't think the Chargers are. Eckler is a shell of himself, man. I even heard this week that they might mix things up here. So I actually picked up Josh Kelly. If he's out there, he might be a worthwhile stash because it sounds like they might take some of the carries away from Eckler because he's just not. He had 14 carries, 18 yards last week.
Yep.
Terrible. So yeah, I just think things
It's
like that.
horrible, and I got him starting in my freaking league.
Now Denver is a very friendly offense, so we could see better offense from this team. But the Chargers are the same way.
Yeah.
So I got Denver in this one
Yep.
divisional matchup.
Next one we got is Buffalo, Kansas City. So this one's actually I know a lot of people were talking about as the game of the week.
One or two.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really good game this week with those two teams. Buffalo has to go ahead and get their ish together because if not, I mean they're literally at the point where they could be knocked out of the playoffs. Like I'd even like talks in the playoffs. So that's something that could haunt them this week. I know Kansas City is out with Pacheco this week, but they're having Clyde Edwards-Helaire playing, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
With this week, um, with Buffalo having that bye, I think that helps them. I think also the frustrations that they've been having with with just their whole entire team that's been happening these past few weeks. So this week, I think that they have a little bit more fire up their ass, and I think that they actually take this week. So I'm taking Buffalo against Kansas City.
No, I'm with you. They're com- No, they're coming off a bye. Back's kind of against the wall. They're
Yeah.
6-6 right now. I mean, the Dolphins are 9-3. If they were to lose again, they very well could have kissed playoffs goodbye. Because I mean, I know at the very least they face Dallas coming up too, which is a tough
They
game
have
for
yeah
them.
they have a really tough end
So
of their schedule.
they face the Dolphins again, I think, right?
Hmm.
So it's like this is a huge game, but I think it's huge. They were on a bye. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this
Yep.
Kansas City team, who I don't think is like I don't think they're that good. I really don't. I think Mahomes is awesome. He makes them better than they are.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice has turned into a nice little player for them. I think going forward, he is a legit NFL player. Kelsey does his thing, but no, Pacheco, he had over 100 yards last week. I mean, he's having a fantastic season. He's slated for 1,000 yards on the year. I think it's a big loss. I think Clyde ain't that good. I know
Agreed.
McKinnon, like people throwing stats, what he did last year when he had like it was like this stretch basically, and like he had a big fantasy like stretch. I think there was just a lot more. Yeah, I think there was just a lot more going for him at that time, and this year it's just not there.
Yeah.
Buffalo got this one. I think back against the wall, they're not gonna throw this away.
Right there with you. Philly at Dallas. Um, Big week, huge week with that loss last week. It was just pure disgusting. Um, I was sitting there watching the first quarter because we had to leave to go to see the Jonas Brothers. I took my wife to see the Jonas Brothers, and I
How
missed.
was it?
It
Did
was
you
good. It was good.
yeah?
It
She
was good.
enjoy it.
She enjoyed it. That's more.
That's
That's
what's
really
important,
what's
right?
important.
Yeah,
That she enjoyed it. I
yeah.
literally was saying how it's beautiful to see a smile on your wife's face when you do something that's just like it brings them back to like
Yeah,
nostalgia.
yeah, yeah.
So it was good to see that. But I will say that as soon as they came out, 15,000 girls screaming at the top of their lungs, my ears were ringing, and it was at one point that I literally walked out to go get another beer, and they had the Green Bay game on, and I'm like watching a little bit of the Green Bay game right before I go back in. So no, it
Where
was
are you? That this line's so long. Okay.
no. So no,
That's
it
funny.
was a good
Yeah,
time
that's
though.
cool.
Overall, it was a good time. With this week though, I mean, going back to just the Eagles, um, I honestly think that they go into Dallas. I think it's a tight game. I think that they win because of how much like listen, last week was a game that if they would have came out firing on all cylinders, um, maybe this week my just my choice would have been different because I've said that I think that there has to be a loss at some point to humble them, right? Um, they were really pissed off with last week. I think a lot of emotions were brought into that week.
Yeah.
Um, this is a rivalry week again, emotions, but I don't think it's the same emotions as last week. Last week was more of like personal emotions. I think Philly takes this one. But I do think it's going to be a tough game. I think CD's going to have another game over 100 yards. We need to honestly, we need to Ferguson. We need to contain Ferguson. Um, it's gonna be a tough game. But I'm taking my boys. I'm taking the Eagles. My prediction for this score, it would be a 27-24 game. That's how tight of a game is going to be.
So this is one game I'll talk a little more about. So first thing I want to say with the Eagles, and before I do that, I'm gonna crack.
Hold on, let me chug this. You go ahead and you do your thing, and then we'll
Okay,
crack it after this.
cool.
We'll crack it for your boys next.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're gonna need it. So with Philly, I said I had San Francisco last week because I said to you, yep, there it is. Because I said to you, I just think that it just they had it's gonna be draining. The last couple of weeks have been so draining with Kansas City, Buffalo.
Yeah,
They've played that was the third game in like 15 days, I think it
13
was.
days.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly my point. And you're
yeah,
going against three powerhouses. San Francisco's arguably maybe the best team in the league, if not top three team,
yeah.
right?
Dallas has the number one scoring offense in the league.
So I think that had a lot to do with the outcome of that game. The
Yeah,
fact that it wasn't even close, right? There were some positives still. The receivers, I mean, it was play from behind mode, but the receivers still got theirs. I mean, 9 catches for Smith, 8 for Brown. They didn't run the ball enough. They
hmm
didn't even try. 6 total rushes for DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's way too good to just have 6. I mean, to not even have 10 is a
which goes
crime.
back to those two fans that were literally sitting outside of the NovaCare complex in the middle of. I think this past week there was a day that it was like a high of 40 degrees, and there was two
Run the damn
guys.
ball.
Yeah, they said run the. They had a big, huge sign, and they were sitting outside. They said for 7 hours with a sign that said "Run the damn ball"
Yeah.
for all the coaches to see when they were driving in and pulling out. Listen, you're hitting the nail on the head.
You have that offensive line for a reason.
Yeah,
They're you know, Kelsey and
Nick Sirianni got a lot of shit thrown his way this week. I tell you that much because there's a lot of things that he needs to go ahead and step up and
let me
make some adjustments and make some changes too, and he just didn't.
let me just say it as a Titans fan that sees his quarterback getting sacked 4 or 5 times as a norm.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're taking what you have for granted.
right.
You know what I mean? So they have to use that. Regardless, Dallas gonna be another. It's tough sledding here with that D line. You know what I mean? So, but still, you just have to. It opens up the whole offense. You can't become one dimensional.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be very tough. They're coming off. They're basically, in my opinion, they're playing the two best teams in the league besides themselves in a row. With and then also you're playing against Kansas City and Buffalo. So I have Dallas in this one
Yeah.
because they're on the road. They always split the games for the
Yeah,
most part.
yeah.
So I just think that it's just kind of. And the other thing I have to give, Dak's playing great football right now. I mean, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but he's definitely in the MVP conversation the way he's playing right now.
So this is something that I'm going to ask you because I was thinking about this the other day. Every single year, it's always, oh, Dak's playing amazing this year. Dak's playing amazing. Dak's an MVP candidate this year.
Well, this is a big game,
Like,
right? This is a big game.
but my thing is like this is it's almost like his MO where he just
You're right,
does
but you don't.
well for most of the season and then ends up shitting the bed towards the end of the season. So
Well, yeah.
this could be the game where
This is
that he could have his notorious 3 turnovers of 3 picks or something like that.
you,
Like
you're right.
who
This is.
knows?
I think this is kind of a defining game in a way. It's a big game because
Yeah,
it changes the outlook on the NFC completely if they win, right?
it puts us all in a 3-way tie with us,
San
San
Francisco,
Francisco and
then
Detroit.
right. There's 4-way, right? Between Dallas, you, Detroit,
Yeah,
and
I
San
guess
Fran,
I
right?
guess yeah, I guess Dallas
So
too.
it
Yep.
just changes everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, I I feel like this Dallas team is a little different. It feels a little different. Do I think they're going to have playoff success necessarily? I don't know yet. I I think they could still falter in that regard. They kind of strike me more as a regular season team.
Yeah.
Ferguson too. You called that. You
Ferguson is
guys are
really good.
you struggle with elite tight ends because the linebacker situation. Now you brought in Leonard. I don't know how he's going to be right off the jump.
Yeah, yeah,
So a lot of those reasons, and then also Dallas defense is a good defense.
yeah,
They're a
yeah.
good defense. They gave up a bunch of points last week.
We do pretty well against them, though.
You do.
Our line does really well. Micah Parsons always says that it's tough when he's playing either side.
It's you kind of have basically said it. If you guys get to Dak, if Dak's not playing like he has been, that's a big deal then. Because basically with your that's been like your Achilles heel, right? The secondary's been getting like loaded on, like whether it's because of missed tackles like last week or deep balls or whatnot. So that's what it comes down to in this game. I, I just think part of me also is taking Dallas because I know you're taking Philadelphia and I gotta make up ground. But I think you're right. It's gonna be almost kind of like last game. It might come down to the last play.
Yeah.
Who scored? Army.
Let's go. My father's in retired Army, so I text him every single year. I'm like, go Army, beat Navy.
Yeah.
So really hype for those boys today. I wish I gotta start stacking up on my Army gear. He was in the
Your
Air
jersey kind
Force
of
for a
cool.
few years, and then he went back to the Army because he came into the Army, went to the Air Force, and then went back.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He said he loved yeah, he loved the
You love
Army.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, go Army, beat Navy. All right, next game we got your boys. I'll let you go ahead and start us off since it's your team, and I started us off always with the Birds.
Yeah, it's the last game of the slate. It's Monday night. I think this is our last prime time game of the year. So I always like it. Just it's I don't get to see them on prime time too often. So with good reason, they haven't been
It's gonna
worthy.
be. I think it would be a good time to watch your boys too. I mean, Miami could go ahead and obviously
No, they're
get a
gonna
dub.
they're gonna totally run us off. No, they're
I'm
home.
trying to go ahead and just warm you up a little
Nah,
bit.
no. You know me. I'm a realist. I
This
usually
is why we are like best friends.
yeah
We are both realists about our teams.
yeah I don't have goggles. I can.
Time out. Time out.
Oh yeah,
Let's
I need
actually
to
crack.
crack
We
this.
got to crack this. All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, love it.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Let us know if you guys would buy some shirts that would say "Cheers, buddy" on it.
Oh yeah, I like that. Well,
Thinking about like having something like up here that says "Cheers, buddy" with like 2 cans that are like clicking together. That'd be cool.
I like it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we lost an OT last week to the Colts. We that was one I really wanted. I think we were really gonna make the playoffs or anything like that? No, but at the same time, like I felt like that was the game. That was
Yeah.
like you turned the key one way or the other. So
DH is looking really good too.
yeah, I still like Lavis. I still like what I see. It's one of those things where like they're losing games he's getting mauled for one.
You gotta give him. You gotta.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
we
gotta give him
we
time.
gotta give him a lot. But he's it's like we talk about. There's just those plays, those throws. You're like, dude, he's got it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's definitely an NFL quarterback. They had him and Hopkins had the little argument on the sideline, but like you see all that with like AJ Brown and all, bro. They're just passionate players,
Yeah.
just and they talk. They're like, dude, like would I have liked to handle it better? Yeah, but like we're just dude, it's the heat of the
Yep.
moment. Like, so I love that. Like out of my quarterback personally, I think it says a lot about him. DeAndre Hopkins is a is no slouch, and to be able to like, you know what I mean, that takes a lot of confidence to like be like,
Yeah.
call him out. He's basically was saying you did something wrong. It sounded like so. Um, I like what I see. Like they just don't have the offense to compete with these guys. And not only that, we don't have the secondary to stop these guys.
Yeah.
It's just the truth of the matter. We're not getting to the quarterback consistently enough. If we can, that will keep us in it. The only saving grace I would say is Henry is playing. Spears looked really good in his absence when he left for whatever he was out for the game. I guess he's not in concussion protocol, but um, so I think that's the only thing we might be able to do on them is run the
Hmm.
ball. But I think Hill. I mean, Hill had a they did man coverage on him last week. You saw what he did:
Yeah.
152 yards, 2 touchdowns. Miami's home. They're a great team when they're home. Too much for us.
Yeah. Hey, it'll be a good time down in Miami for your boys, though. They can go ahead and enjoy themselves.
JT's down there. Maybe he'll catch the game.
Oh yeah, that is true. I saw his Snapchat earlier. That's
Yeah.
funny. All right, all right. So let's go ahead and get things started with a little bit of betting. All right, so I'm sorry if any of you guys have been following me with my bets this year that I haven't made you guys a lot of money this year. But what did Jordan say? You miss all the shots you don't take.
And before you go on, the one thing I want to say is right. So you have a lot of these anytime touchdowns that come down the list. So more so, if I'm someone listening, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I want to take my two or three from you. I like the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm probably not gonna play all seven
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have no idea. There's probably some people that have won some of this money because of that.
And if you have, please let me know because this one's a 10 pick parlay. It's
So
a
I just
big.
wanted to make sure
Oh, I
make
appreciate that. I
just
appreciate
a
that.
point of view there.
Um, yeah. If you have, let me know. Let me know. This is a 10 pick parlay. Now I did a little bit of different because usually what I do is I'll do a parlay with my 1 o'clocks and I'll do a parlay for my 4 o'clocks
Love it.
and late games, right?
Yep.
This time I said nope. Let me just pick
Your
a
favorites.
few from like my ones, a few from my fours, and then my Sunday or my Sunday night. And that's how I never usually like to touch Monday night because I'm one where it's like let me get my money at the end of the damn night. I don't want to wait till Monday.
Usually, if I touch a Monday night game, it's just a separate bet.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly,
the same game bet.
exactly.
Yep.
All right. So with this week to start things off, I have David Montgomery. Once again anytime touchdown. So David Montgomery against Chicago Bears.
With you.
He
Mm-hmm.
wants to go ahead and get his boys back, like for letting him go. So I'm sure
Oh, I didn't even
he's
think about
gonna,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure he's definitely gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and want that, especially it's in Chicago.
He
Yeah,
wants to score in Soldier
he
Field.
want he wants
Yeah.
to score.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Zay Flowers gets a dub, even though it's raining. I still think that at some point he gets not a dub, a tud. Um, so I would definitely flirt with that option. I also have been I threw Lamar in there, so either Zay or Lamar. I would
Both of
say
them. You got
as
both of them.
no, I would say one of
Oh,
those two.
one of the two.
One of the two, I would say to definitely throw in there. Lamar is the safe bet because obviously you know that at some point he's probably going to run something in. But Zay, I think that as soon as they get close enough that he'll be able to launch one or throw a little
It's
slant
off the
to
bye
Zay.
too.
Yeah,
Without Mark Andrews, I have to think that Zay is going to be a focal point.
yeah, he'll be a target. So I have Brees Hall against the Texans once again because of the weather. I think that they run it, and at some point they get a touchdown with Brees Hall. Um, I have Zach Moss with a touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah,
Not much to say there. I just think that with
he
him
has
being
the
the back there,
opportunity.
yeah, he has. Yeah,
94% of snaps.
yep.
You're no, I don't hate it.
Alvin Kamara against the Panthers.
Love it.
That one's easy. I mean, Panthers are not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be able to stop
Top
him.
five
So,
worst running in the league.
yep. Another easy one. That's a gimme. Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Uh, Christian McCaffrey, I think gets his tud
Yep.
against the Seahawks.
hmm
I have Josh Jacobs against the Vikings.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs against the Chiefs.
Okay. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts against the
A
Cowboys.
little push.
And then I did put Tyreek Hill on here because that's Monday night, but you can pretty much guarantee Tyreek Hill's
Mortal
gonna
lock.
he's pretty much gonna score at some
Believe
point.
me, that secondary is going to give it up.
Yeah. So that is what I have for my bets. Like I said, if you have hit anything, just from picking a few of those players and putting them on your parlay, I would love to shout you out. So let us know if you've hit any of the anytime touchdown parlays with any of the picks that we put out there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started with the fantasy segment.
All right, guys. Fantasy segment. One of my favorite parts of this. So I got four, I guess nuggets, if you will, for you. Number one, I have Bijan Robinson. Some stats from the last month, right? 69% of snaps. Very nice there. Top five in running back efficiency. 21 opportunities per game. He faces Tampa Bay, which, if you remember, that's the game that he was sick, undisclosed sickness. And Tyler Algier had 112 yards last game. So if Tyler Algier can do that, I'm a betting man, and I'm thinking that he'll be able to do that as well. I think a big week is up ahead for him. Last week, number two here, I boosted Tank Dell up for the remainder of the season. Unfortunately, he had that leg injury. He's out for the season now. So now I am shifting that to Nico Collins. Right, rest of the season schedule is for.
Nico, I have him on fantasy, so I have both of them on fantasy. You would have probably called me a damn Houston Texans fans if you didn't know I was a freaking Eagles fan.
No, but with Dell out, last game he had 44% of the target share. I'm not saying that's going to be every game, but even if it's half that, that's phenomenal. Uh, Tennessee Titans twice in the fantasy playoffs. I think he's about to go to the moon
He
after
had
the
he had 120 yards receiving.
191 last game.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Actually, no. Yeah, you're right. Because I had
191,
like
dude.
over like 40 point. No, 35. It was like 36 points. I think it
That
was.
man, I've said it week in and week out. He's become one of my favorite receivers to watch.
Yeah,
He's an
he's really
pure
good.
alpha. He just reminds me of receivers in the era that we grew up with. Just the big body, bully receivers,
Yep.
but also has a speed component to. I love him.
Yep. I agree.
Number three nugget that I have. So here's my top five receiver matchups of the week. So number one, going with your bet here, Tyreek Hill versus Tennessee. I think he's definitely a lock for a touchdown, 100-yard day. Number two, I got CD Lamb versus Philly. I think you're right. I think another 100-yard day is, probably going to happen for him.
He could definitely go ahead and have anytime touchdown
Yeah,
on Sunday as well because I don't think that I think CD is one that gets the respect from every Philly fan. They know that he's going to go ahead and have a game against us.
he's legit.
So
Yeah, he's
yeah,
legit. Number three, I got DJ Moore versus Detroit. Him and Fields, especially the last two games, they have a good connection with each other. DJ Moore plays very well when Fields is playing. He's just targeted so much. I think the connection is there. He's going to be vital for Fields' growth, and I think this is a good week versus soft Detroit secondary. And then in the same game, number four, I got Amon St. Brown versus Chicago. He kind of have a quieter week last week. He didn't even have a catch in the second half of the game last week in that win. So I think he's due to have a big week. Chicago secondary a little soft, and he's in the slot, and that's a tough spot for them. And then number five, this is more of kind of a under the radar one. It's I have two guys kind of on the same team because you'll understand. Jaden Reed and Romeo Dubes versus the Giants with Watson out. the way they're playing though, Jordan Love and everything like that,
Mhm.
I think that they could be nice beneficiaries from that. And I think they can have nice games. I think they're gonna have the opportunity there. They're both kind of legit in their own right, right? Dubes is a good like touchdown option in the red zone. Reed's kind of a good underneath, like, safety blanket. So I think they can have a nice day in that matchup versus the Giants, who, sorry, Nasser, but the defense is Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know it's Romeo Dobbs, by the way.
Dubes, Dobbs, I like calling him Dubes.
Okay,
Reminds me of like a doobie boy. You know what I mean?
that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I like heard it like once. I was like, yeah, I'm not changing. And number four nugget, my top five running back matchups, right? So you called the one, Alvin Kamara versus Carolina. That's an easy one. I think he's due for a 100-yard day. Uh, Saquon Barkley versus Green Bay. Green Bay has given up a lot to the rush. That's their weak point there. Uh, I'm reluctant on this, but Austin Eckler versus Denver, the matchup's there. Denver's such a soft run defense. Pierce had his comeback game last week. That's kind of the way they are. So if Eckler's going to get on track, it's this game. And then I have Zach Moss versus Cincinnati. So you had the anytime touchdown with him. So I think that that's a good lock. I think they have a soft D there. And last, they got CMC versus Seattle. I think again with your anytime touchdowns, a good bet. Seattle has a soft run defense, and they proven that week in week out. Pollard had his best day of the year last year, and he found the end zone. So they are my four nuggets here. So uh, that's what I got. I know we want to touch on the playoffs real quick, kind of, you know, touch on what we feel is going to happen. So, um, we'll shift to that,
Yeah, let's
and
go ahead and let's shift to it.
yeah,
So we got playoff time coming up, and it's actually going to get real good towards the end of the season with certain teams. NFC South, obviously, in particular. Obviously, we think that there's like you can already go ahead and put together your predictions of who you think is going to be in the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship. A lot of different predictions. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and kind of get things started. So I think for the winner of the NFC, I think Eagles do win the NFC. I think after them winning this week, they have an easier ending of the week, or ending of the season. So I think Eagles win, get the number one seed. They really want to go ahead and have that playoff, the Super Bowl come through at least the NFC come through through Lincoln Financial. So that's my prediction there. Who do you think?
yeah. No, so for the longest time, I did think Dallas was going to win the division, but I actually think the Eagles are going to win the division now. Even with this, even though I picked Dallas to win this week,
Yeah.
I think that they're going to get them just on the back end here because the Eagles' schedule from here after this game is very favorable. I think they beat Seattle. They played Giants twice,
Yep.
right? I think they beat them. Who's the other game? There's another week game in
Arizona.
Arizona. They're going to beat them too. So with Dallas on the flip side, right after Philly, they play. It's kind of like what Philly went through. Play Buffalo in Buffalo, Miami in Miami, and then Detroit in in um
There's
in
That's going to be a good.
Dallas. But there's all tough games,
Yep.
right?
All
So
tough
so
games.
I think somewhere in there, there's at least the loss that puts them back. You know what I mean? Together. So I think the Eagles do actually indeed take it. Yeah, or the Niners, one of the two basically, because
Yeah.
they're going to win the division. It's just going to come down to who has the best record,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. So I would say in the AFC for the right now with the number one seed, who do you have actually in the AFC? Because I'm gonna go ahead and ride with I'm gonna ride with the Ravens. I think the Ravens gonna go ahead and pull it out rest of the season, and I think they can have the number one seed in the playoffs. They're
I,
tied right now with the Dolphins.
I'm reluctant. Um, But I'm gonna take the Dolphins.
Okay.
I'm gonna take them. They have Tennessee this week. They have the Jets. They do have a tough stretch at the end between Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Hmm.
But out of all the games that I just said, the only game away is Baltimore. And I have said to you, I think that they're just a different team when they're home than
Yep.
away. So I think that's why they might lose that Baltimore game, but I think they're able to kind of win out here and take the AFC.
Okay.
Coming out of South Beach.
That'll be a wild playoffs. Every team
That'd be
going down to
fun.
South Beach.
Yeah, that'd be
Goodness gracious.
fun. They might win because everyone's gonna go
Everybody in the
party.
AFC is like, please, Miami, win the number one seed so we can come down to
They'll
South
probably
Beach.
see James Harden there 12 hours before this game. Oh, yo, what's up? What's up, Lamar?
We're not bitter. We're definitely better. Trust me. All right. NFC West. I have Niners. I think Niners win that one. That's not
Yeah,
a debate at all.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think Niners win that. They'll be the 2 seed. Um, NFC North. I have Lions winning that one. That's not a debate either. They're
Nope.
way above everybody else.
Even on the
That's
Packers run,
we're gonna go through the NFC now. We wanted to at least get through the
yeah, who
two
we think the
ones.
top? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the top
exactly.
ones. Um,
Yeah, Lions. I agree.
yeah.
No doubt about it.
NFC South. NFC South is going to be the one that we're going to be all like, huh, who comes out of here? I'm sticking with it. I'm going to stick with Tampa Bay. I've been riding Tampa Bay all year. I called it earlier this year, so I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking Tampa Bay up today, but I'm sticking with my New Orleans Saints. I think that
Whew.
I think Jameis might come in and might not lose the job.
Yeah, that'll be a big thing to talk about. That'll be huge to
I'm
talk about.
riding them.
All right. So after that, so we ran through NFC East, NFC West, NFC North, and
Yeah, we got
NFC
the four.
South. Yep.
Yep. So we're at the now we gotta
Um.
do AFC.
Yeah. Let's do AFC. So with the AFC,
So we took Miami. Well, I took
you
Miami.
have Miami having the number one seed. I have Baltimore having the number one seed. I will say this: that AFC East, I am taking obviously Miami. Um.
And I am taking Baltimore.
Right. So I think we agree that
Those are
they're two juggernauts in their own division.
right.
Um. AFC West.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs as well. I don't think the Bills catch them,
Well,
unfortunately. So,
the Bills are in the
or
Miami,
not, I'm sorry, not the Bills.
Denver.
Denver. I don't
Yeah,
think Denver.
I don't think Denver catches
I don't
them
think
either.
Denver catches because
Denver
there's a
might
lot of
make the
people talking
wild
about that
card,
Denver could go ahead and possibly win. I'm like,
not
no,
the
stop it.
division, maybe wild
Yeah.
card. Yeah,
No. So AFC West, we have the Chiefs, and then the AFC South.
bro, it's tough, man. It's become a tough call.
Why are the South teams the ones that are tough ones?
I don't know, and they all might make the playoffs. That's the crazy thing. It's about who's gonna win the division. My gut My gut tells me the Houston Texans because I just think CJ Stroud has that killer instinct, and it might just be 1 week, but if Trevor Lawrence was to miss more than a week, that could be an issue.
I agree with you. If Trevor Lawrence misses more than 1 week, then that I think changes the whole entire conversation. I'm gonna also agree with you. I think Houston wins the AFC South. Um,
I
I just
shouldn't, I shouldn't, I
I
shouldn't feel this way because they're in the same division as the Titans. They're a fun team to watch. Like I do enjoy watching them. I don't have hate for them. I
yeah,
don't, and it's
and
yeah.
I mean I thought at first the Jags would win it because of the fit of with Doug P being the head coach. Uh,
Really, I mean, they
yeah,
made up
yeah,
some good
yeah.
moves. Yeah,
Then
yeah.
mind you, they're still gonna make the playoffs, but I just think that I
And
think
Christian
Houston.
Kirk's out too now, four
Yeah,
weeks
yeah.
minimum.
Christian's out.
Yeah,
Christian Kirk's out. So they got to utilize Parker Washington down there.
yeah.
So yeah, no, I got Texas on that one as well. All right. So with the um,
Wild card on each
yeah,
side.
the wild
One,
card.
3 teams each, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll stay on the AFC right now. Um, I'm inclined. Let me just on my side here. I'm pretty sure I know what I. Mm, okay.
I already know what I'm going with.
I think that um I think the 3 teams I have, I think I do have Indianapolis. I think I do have Jacksonville, and I think I got Denver. I think I got Denver. I'm flirting with Buffalo, but I think Buffalo has tough games, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna play 500 ball.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nasty season for Buffalo, unfortunately. I have Houston and I have Indy as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it's that third team. I think
the third team that I really think that, and this isn't like I don't think that they're gonna go ahead and make a difference, but I think the Steelers. I
really.
think Mike Tomlin does it again.
Oof. I don't know, dude. That was a bad
I know.
loss.
I
Two
listen.
bad
I could
losses,
I
man.
could
Cardinals.
easily be eating my words right now, but I'm just going off of pure of
No,
just
I
Mike
know.
Tomlin,
No,
knowing
I
how
hear
he
you.
is,
I
that
mean,
defense,
it's
that
not
team.
it's not out of
Who
the realm of
knows?
possibility.
Who
No, you're
knows?
right. You're right.
They're above 500 right now. So
Yeah. Okay.
all right, switching over to the NFC. So we already went through our NFC.
So it's
Um,
Philly, San Fran,
yep, we went.
Detroit, and then we split on
You said Atlanta, and I said no. You said New Orleans. I'm sorry, and I said Tampa Bay.
correct.
All right, so now we're going through the wild card with the NFC.
So
So
Dallas is a lock.
Dallas is a lock. I think that we both agree there that
There's no
Dallas
argument
Dallas wins
there.
that one for sure. Um,
Wow. I'm mm,
I know,
mm.
like I don't want to say it, but I'm like
I'll tell you
Green
this.
Bay is going to make it. I think Green Bay makes it, and
Oof.
I think Green Bay makes it.
I have Green Bay in there too. I do. I have Green Bay in there. I don't think I can give it to Minnesota. I don't think I can. I think I'm leaning towards the
Seattle. I'm
Rams.
saying
The
Seattle.
the
I'm saying
Rams. I
Seattle.
think I got the
I
Rams.
think Seattle has it. Oh man, I mean the
This
Ram,
is
the
this.
Ram, the Rams could very well have it. I
I
think
mean,
Seattle.
no,
I think Seattle.
they're who I'm torn with, or it could be. I also think Tampa could do it. This is one we'll have to revisit in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I think my initial thoughts
Unfortunately, whoever is
is
that last team that goes in,
it's
you're probably
Dallas Green.
losing that game,
Yeah,
that first one,
yeah.
because you're going against the number one seed.
I think
So
any of those teams. I mean, Dallas is the only one. I mean, if Dallas Dallas kind of set up for success, Dallas would theoretically play the winner of Tampa or New Orleans or Atlanta.
hmm
So I think that bodes well for them. Um, Minnesota, Green Bay, LA Rams, Seattle, even Tampa. I think any of them that play Detroit and San Francisco are going to lose.
yeah, I agree. We'll revisit this for sure to go ahead and see how this whole season shapes up. We're in week 14.
Yeah,
We got 4 more weeks left.
yeah,
It's going to be
it's
exciting.
getting good.
It's going to be exciting. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be sure to have this up as always 8 o'clock in the morning. So go ahead and wake up, whip up some breakfast, pop open some champagne, make a mimosa,
Mm.
or crack a cold one.
Cheers,
Cheers,
buddy.
buddy.